Hey everyone, good evening and welcome to our webinar on understanding consumer behavior, every pattern marketers must account for in 2026. This webinar is a continuation of the biggest marketing shift conducted last January 31. So yes, we're doing a 12-month webinar streak. So kudos to all of us for showing up. And thank you so much for joining me tonight. Once again, this is Jeanings and the founder of Quiet Marketing. I'm an alumna of the School of Business Administration and Accountancy at the University of Baguio, Bachelor of Business Administration, major in Marketing Management. I've been an HR Operations Manager as well as the Chief Operations Officer for a tech company here in Baguio City. And at Quiet Marketing, we provide marketing webinars for students and marketing professionals as well. So we do live webinars and self-paced learning for past webinars as well. Simply message us if you need access to these webinars. Now we have a lineup of different topics covering all things marketing. And we've already received over 2,000 signups from 300 universities nationwide and counting. And of course, all thanks to you for your support and participation. Let's dive into our topic, understanding consumer behavior, every pattern marketers must account for in 2026. So it's not enough that we've learned about the shifts in the marketing space. We now move to the shifts in consumer behavior. Consumer behavior, in simple terms, is about understanding the why behind a purchase. So today we're not going to talk about the trends anymore because we've already discussed that on our past webinar, The Biggest Shift in Marketing. Today, we're going to talk about understanding what makes people buy, what makes people tick. Okay? So, hindi siya about trends, but more on recalibration. But what is recalibration in terms of understanding consumer behavior? Of course, let's understand what we mean when we say fundamental recalibration of how customers think, buy, and trust, because going back to the basics, it all boils down to understanding consumer behavior first before we even come up with our strategies, our marketing strategies. So consumer behavior is the study of how people make decisions about their purchases, okay? Because without the basic understanding of these foundation, you begin doubting your business. You begin asking yourself if you are in the right track or you're even doing the right thing. So this is where most businesses get confused, coming up with business ideas without understanding or without customer knowledge. Alalahanin natin again, it all boils down to what solution do you provide for people's problems. If your business is focused on you, not the people, okay, you're losing your customers because you're not speaking to them. Okay, so when we say fundamental recalibration, how does it relate in terms of understanding consumer behavior? So recalibration means you're readjusting your plans, your expectations, or your behavior to better align with the new information or the changing realities of the marketing landscape that we are in. It's just a fancy term for revamping or resetting, fine-tuning all strategies kung ano yung mga ginagawa na natin before in ways that will align to the changing realities of this fast-paced era that we are in. So to further understand where do we recalibrate, what is the consumer state? It shifted from the consumers aren't just buying differently, they are thinking differently. There is a craving for algorithmic convenience, which means we are humans and the humans are wired for the path of least resistance. We have a craving for technology to make our lives effortless. We want the easy button. So in 2026, the average consumer makes over 35,000 decisions a day. They are exhausted, no? Consumers are exhausted. Here, this is where algorithmic convenience comes in. It isn't just a tech feature, it's a biological relief valve, okay? So, when we say algorithmic convenience, no, ano ba yung mga ginagawa para sa atin nito? So, number one is, it cures yung paradox of choice na tinatawag natin or the noise reduction. In the old marketing world, we thought kapag more options is equals to more sales. But nowadays, no, it's shifting. In 2026, the more options, it leads to yung tinatawag natin na decision paralysis. No, how does it relate to the decision? No, when a customer searches for a product, they don't want a list of 500 items. They want the one item that is perfect for them. Diba? So, dito pumapasok yung mga strategies when it comes sa SEO, mga hashtags, copywriting na rin, and what we have now, which is the GEO or Generative Engine Optimization, as well as AEO or Answer Engine Optimization. So, yan yung next topic natin, GEO and AEO for March, no? So, I hope na you get to join me for another dive deep, no? For this specific topic. Once again, GEO and AEO. Now, what is its relevance in terms of the marketing industry in 2026? So, as a marketer, you put yourself in the consumer position, no? Hindi lang short attention span when it comes to media consumption. Nangyayari din ito sa purchase decision natin. Kasi consumers want convenience in purchasing and they want immediate answers to their problems. So, yung short attention span, no, it stemmed from the consumption of long-form videos. Nagkaroon ng consumption fatigue. Okay, so ano yung nakamap nila na strategy is the birth of yung mga YouTube Shorts, nagkaroon ng Reels, ng TikTok. Okay, so algorithmic convenience changes the buyer's role from being a researcher who has to do the work to an editor who just has to say yes or no. Kaya kung dati kapag may kailangan kang bilhin, nagre-research ka muna, di ba? Before checking out. So, it's time consuming. The gist of algorithmic convenience is that when a customer search for a product, you as a brand, you appear right in front of them. Okay? Aside from the decision paralysis, no, removing the decision paralysis, algorithmic convenience also collapses the inspiration to execution gap. So, yung distance between I want that and I own that. Okay, it's shrinking from nearly zero, no? The decision shift is that we are moving in the era of zero-click commerce. Ano ba yung zero-click commerce? So, zero-click commerce allows consumers to purchase products directly within search results, social media, or AI assistance without visiting a brand's website driven by AI. Or voice technology din. So, it streamlines the purchasing process, increasing convenience for users and decreasing reliance on traditional e-commerce funnels. So, decisions are no longer events that happen at the checkout and counter. They are micro moments that happen while browsing a social media or talking to an AI agent. So, for example, nagbabrowse ka lang ng TikTok and then you've encountered a product and you save it. So, that's how you discover products. Hindi na siya, ay, kailangan kong pumunta sa website ni Nike. Instead, you search on TikTok, you search on Shopee, or even on Facebook. Kasi isang search mo lang, lumalabas na agad instead of the traditional manual searching. So, if a consumer has to wait more than yung standard natin is 3-second page load, no, for your website to load or click through 3 menus to buy, they abandon the decision entirely. So, complexity is now a direct revenue loss. Kaya dito papasok yung mga ano ba yung mga strategies mo para mas mapadali ang customer journey, no, as a marketer. Now, the third thing is that algorithmic convenience provides artificial certainty. What does that mean? So, yung trust for shortcut, the brain hates it when it's uncertain, no? The brain hates uncertainty. So, when an algorithm says 98% match for you, it provides a certainty shortcut, okay? That you, as a human or a consumer, you find it irresistible. So, why do people trust TikToks for you, no? Yung FY page more than a celebrity endorsement. Kasi pag celebrity endorsement, we know that it's as a promotion, because they will do anything to promote the product to you. But when it comes to the For You page, it has different opinions about the product because the algorithm has proven it knows better than they know themselves. Okay, so consumers are trading their data for certainty that they won't regret their purchase. The decision isn't, is this a good product, but rather, does the system know me well enough to be right? So dito nagiging authoritative si TikTok. Napaka-specific niya. Isang click mo lang sa search engine for a topic, lalabas lahat ng searches mo. Lalabas lahat ng related to that topic. Okay? Now, unlike Facebook or IG, they still need to work on this area of what we call the algorithmic convenience, no? Kapag kay FB, kung saan-saan ka pa niya dadalhin, ang dami ring mga third-party, external parties involved just to make a purchase, no? Si TikTok, andyan na lahat. So, yan yung isang kagandahan din ng paggamit as a brand, no? Paggamit ng TikTok. Okay, now, if you want to win in 2026, you stop trying to be the brand with the most stuff. Kasi nga, gaya ng sabi natin kanina, we're removing the decision paralysis. You be the brand with the most clarity. So, algorithmic convenience is process of using data to remove the work from buying, no? Your job isn't to sell a product. Lagi nating tatandaan. It's to protect your customers' energy. If you make them think, you lose every single time. If you make them search, you lose every single time. So if you provide the right answer at the exact second they need it, the buying decision becomes invisible. It becomes the next logical step. In this AI-driven world, the brand that solves the most complexity for the lowest effort wins every single time. Okay? Now, what is the demand when it comes to human agency? Every time you make something easier for a customer using AI, a small alarm goes off in the back of their head that asks, wait, is this actually what I want? Or is this the machine just tricking me? This is the demand for human agency. Meron tayong tinatawag na the black box versus co-creation. Think about the old way, no? Yung black box na sinasabi natin. This is a system that takes your data, goes into a dark room, and comes out saying, buy this, no? It feels like a coercion for consumers, and humans, they hate being told to, or they hate being told what to do. So the simple gist here is that people don't want the machine to replace their judgment. They want the machine to inform their judgment. Okay? So we are moving from targeting to co-creation. If you look at brands like IKEA, they don't just say, buy this couch. They give you an AI tool to design the room yourself, and the AI does the heavy lifting, but the human makes the final decision, makes the final call. So when the customer builds it, they own the decision. That's what we mean when we say human agency. And of course, the recoil or the reaction to opacity. No, when a system feels opaque, or meaning you can see how it's working, the consumer's first instinct is to recoil or to draw back. Kasi if a customer feels like they're being funneled into a corner, they will leave even if the product is perfect for them. The rationale here is that we are in an era of deep fakes and AI generated noise. So choice is the only proof of reality. If I can change the settings or say no to a recommendation, I don't trust the recommendation. Okay? The cornerstone of the new algorithmic contract is that every time your website makes a personalized suggestion, you must be able to answer the question, why am I seeing this? Okay? Transparency is not just a feature, it is your trust anchor, the consumer trust anchor. So we suggested this because yung sa ibang mga website, pag binibisita natin sila, there is this feature that says we suggested this because you value sustainability and typically shop in this price range. So you give the agency back to the human. You are essentially saying, here is the data, you're still the boss. Customers are now smart. They know when they're being engineered. The demand for agency actually plays out on the apps that you use every day. Like for example, no, kay TikTok. Before talking about consumer to being a consumer to being a co-creator, no, on TikTok, yung black box na sinasabi natin is the algorithm. No, it shows an ad to you in your face. It suddenly pops up in your feed, and ang result is an immediate swipe past. No, specifically no, sa mga Gen Z natin, they demand the agency to participate. Okay, so how does it happen? No, yung mga brands that win on TikTok, they don't just post a video. They use interactive features like polls or choose our next flavor campaigns. Like when a brand asks, should we launch the blue one or the red one? Okay, they are giving the consumers agency, or agency in simpler terms is agency just means the choice. Okay, human choice. So the consumer feels like they help build the product rather than being forced to buy it. So you involve your customers, no, as marketers. The drawback yung sinasabi natin kanina, na if an ad feels too engineered or doesn't let the user engage, the user draw back, okay, because it feels like coercion. Okay, pinipilit mo sila na tanggapin itong ad na to. Okay, so also another thing that you can do is education over interruption, no? So kay Instagram naman, it used to be glossy ads. Yan yung mga trending before. But consumers nowadays, no, uses Instagram to research before they buy. Think of the save button. Gen Zs or consumers saves educational carousels that explain how a product works or how it compares to others. Okay, brands enable agency by providing compare tables or how-to guides. Instead of saying, oh, our cream or our ice cream is the best, they show the ingredient breakdown versus a competitor. Okay, this gives the buyer the tools to make an independent decision. You aren't selling them, you are giving them the product passport. They need to choose you on their own terms. Okay, now when it comes kay Facebook Meta, when it comes to human agency, no, even older platforms like Facebook, the demand for agency is high. This is where the new algorithmic contract lives. If you ever click, no, why am I seeing this ad on Facebook? That shouldn't be a hidden button. It should be part of the brand's message. as a marketer, you may say in your copy that we're showing you this because you're interested in sustainable fashion. Okay? So, this moves the experience from yung black box, the system that decides for you, to co-creation, the system helping you find what you already like. So, it removes the creepiness and replaces it with verifiable confidence. Okay? Now, the gist of this slide is you start creating, or you start being the co-pilot. You provide the algorithmic convenience to save them time, but always give them the human agency to make the final choice. And the result of this is that you don't just get a transaction, you get a customer who feels empowered, respected, and most importantly, safe with your brand. Okay? Okay, so if slide 2 was the why, the recalibration, slide 3 is the how. So these are the 3 forces that actually drive a sale in 2026. Think of this as the 3 pillars holding up the roof of your business. If one of this is weak, the whole structure of your marketing will collapse under the weight of an AI-driven world. So, okay, we have the radical transparency and compromising control and deep resonance. So we're going to tackle this one by one. Okay, so you need to know the difference of using AI and human hand in hand with your marketing strategies. It's not just one, but it's a combination of both, no? Algorithmic convenience and human agency. Okay, so first let's discuss the first 4 that's shaping the consumer behavior in 2026. Radical transparency. So it's just another term for the trust framework, no? Hindi na lang ikaw ang nagdidikta that your brand must be trusted, no? In 2026, trust me, I'm a brand is a dead sentence. You don't get trust by asking for it. You get it by showing your work. So we are moving from brand authority to decentralized authority. So transparency isn't just about being honest. It's about providing verifiable proof as well, like a digital product passport that shows exactly where a product came from. Okay? So, here's how these 3 drivers shape behavior and show up in the social media game without the corporate jargon, no? So, the first topic that we need to discuss is the new rules of AI personalization. The old paradigm, or the black box, is that in the era of the marketing cubicle, we used a black box. Yung binabanggit natin kanina is a system collected data in the dark, process in secret, and show a product in the customer space. It's a creepy feeling when you talk about shoes and then see a shoe ad in 5 minutes later, no? So, ang result is nagkakaroon ng suspicion and intrusion. Oh, what's happening behind these platforms, no? When consumers don't understand the why, they feel coerced. So they feel like the machine is making the choice for them. Okay, so the 2026 paradigm of co-creation is that the system doesn't decide for you, it helps you decide. So you aren't targeting a lead, you are partnering with a human, and the result of doing this is confidence and choice. When you explain the logic, the consumer feels they are in control. This is how you fulfill the demand for human agency we talked about earlier, no? So the most important takeaway here is that personalization without explanation is just stalking, no? They feel like you're stalking them. So think of Netflix, no? They don't just show you a movie. They say 98% match because you watch X. Okay, that small sentence is the contract. Okay, it tells the human, I'm not spying, I'm filtering based on your past choices. So when you build a campaign, don't just use a recommended for you section. Use a why this fits your goal section. So you explain the why. And transparency is the bridge that turns a creepy algorithm. So we've all felt the algorithm to be creepy. So instead of not explaining why you're doing this or why you're showing an ad to a customer, no, you will be a trusted advisor if you explain the why. Why are you showing them your ad or your campaign? The diagram of user input, AI suggestion, and user choice, it's designed to show you exactly how the mix we discussed earlier, AI and human agency, actually functions in the real world interface. So you move from the AI telling you what to do to conversation, the AI giving you a menu or options, no? The user input is where the humans start the engine. Inputs aren't just keywords, they are intentions, no? If a customer says, I need an outfit for a beach wedding that isn't too hot but looks professional, the human provides the context and the goal. Without this, the AI is just guessing. The algorithmic convenience phase, instead of making the human look through 5,000 dresses, and the AI does the heavy lifting. The AI analyzes the weather, the user's past styles, and current trends to present three perfect options. So in the diagram, there's a small Y icon next to the suggestion. This is the explanations that it says we chose this because they are linen, breathable, and have a blazer cut. It's professional. So the user choice is that this is the final step where human agency is restored. No, the diagram shows you that the user clicking, tweaking, or rejecting the suggestion. So the user sees the three options and says, I like option 2, but we can we see it in blue? So by giving the user the final click, you move the psychology from the computer bought this for me to I use the computer to find exactly what I wanted. Because the user was part of the process, they have verifiable confidence in the purchase. They don't feel marketed to, they feel equipped. Okay? If most of your marketers are still trying to force a choice, you think if you just make the buy button big enough, they'll click it. But in 2026, the buy button is only click when the understand button has been satisfied. So, kaya kayo nagtataka, no? Yung iba dito, yung iba sa atin, yung mga marketers, they're asking, bakit hindi, why is my ad not working, no? Bayad ka ng bayad ng ad. Pero mali kasi yung sistema, mali yung system. Dun pa lang sa strategy mo when it comes to creating your system before even creating a campaign or an ad, mali na. So you need to fix first your positioning before even utilizing ad features, okay, of Meta and other social media platforms. Because nowadays, people love to buy, but they hate being sold to. So this diagram is how you let them buy without ever feeling that they were sold to. Okay, now we move to our slide on proof over promise. When we say proof over promise, is that it means you're placing vague claims with verifiable confidence. Consumers nowadays are skeptical by default yan. So, because they have been burned by greenwashing, their brain doesn't register a promise. It only registers traceability. They don't want to hear, we are ethical. They want to see the GPS coordinates of the factory. Okay? And we say ethics as a verifiable proof. Saying you're sustainable is just what everybody else is doing. Consumer doesn't want a promise, they want receipts, no? How does it reflect on social media? We have this thing called, when it comes to eco-friendly products, we have this term called greenwashing. It's a deceptive marketing tactic, no? Where companies, they exaggerate or falsely claim that their products or their services or their operations are environmentally friendly to boost their reputations and their sales. What are brands doing now is that they're using digital product passports, say for example a QR code. It shows the literal journey of a product. If you look at brands like Patagonia or Gani on TikTok, no, they don't just post a model. They post a 60-second behind the scenes video showing the actual factory, the material certification, and the carbon footprint of that specific item. Okay? So, ang consumer nowadays, they say, I don't care about your Earth Day graphic. Okay? Show me the map, show me the workers. If I can verify, it didn't happen. So, what you're trying to do now as a marketer for your social media game is that you're moving away from the reveal towards the process. Okay? Kaya nauso na rin talaga ngayon yung mga behind the scene clips sa content creation natin when it comes to social media marketing. Look at brands on TikTok, no, that shows raw and edited behind the scenes of their supply chain, showing the actual ways, the actual workers, and the actual materials. So the aha moment is that, oh, that's the reason why I like seeing the boring factory footage more than the pretty final ad. The boring stuff is actually the proof that the pretty stuff is real. Or yung mga nakikita natin na structured, curated, and polished ads. No? So, that's interactive transparency. And every product has a story that the user can unlock. And this is where you as a marketer can utilize all of the things that you're learning right now, no? You're scrolling Instagram and you see a brand with a QR code on the garment tag. You scan it and it shows you a map of everywhere that shirt has been before it hit your doorstep. Ginagawa ito ni ano bang brand ng makeup, local brand, si Sunny's Face. Ginagawa nila ito, no? So as a consumer, you'll say, oh, that's the reason why I feel more confident buying from them. They aren't just telling me it's sustainable. They're giving me the tracking number there for the entire planet. Okay? So your reflection here, as a marketer, you're being honest about what isn't perfect yet. A brand posts a video saying, we tried to make this 100% recycled, but we hit a snag with the zippers, so they are only 40%. So here is why. A consumer might say that, oh, the reason why I trust this brand more than the one claiming to be 100% perfect, they are being honest about the struggle, which makes the proof actually believable. Now we move on to the third driver when it comes to radical transparency for marketers, is that it shifted from brand as the expert to the crowd as the truth. Brands no longer own the narrative. The community does. And how does it work? It's what we call the decentralization of authority. The comment section rule. Ang gist dito is that the authority, brand authority, has moved. Dati, it used to sit in a boardroom with 1 million ad budget. Now, it sits in Reddit thread, Discord servers, thread, TikTok comment section. Ano ang role ng consumer behavior dito? Is that consumers don't look at your website to see if you're good. Okay? They look at the unfiltered feedback of people who already bought from you. They trust strangers with the same problems more than the CEOs with solution. Brands are no longer the expert. The crowd is. Authority has moved from the CEO's office to the Reddit threads and the TikTok comment section. Now, how does it reflect on social media? Now, brands are losing control of the narrative, no? And that's a good thing for those who are honest. Okay? User-generated content or yung UGC na sinasabi natin. UGC are the new gold standards. If you've noticed, people are searching TikTok for brand name plus review instead of going to the brand's website. Pag sa mga brand website, ang narrative is curated. The narrative is one-sided. Okay? Of course, you're going to promote your brand as great. No? As someone to be trusted. But in here, when we say decentralized authority, is that the people, it's the community who decides that you are a trusted brand. Okay? With just a single comment, no, with 10k likes can make or break a product launch, no. A brand launches a life-changing foundation, but a creator with 500 followers shows it's piling on real skin. Okay? The creator now has more authority than the brand's ad campaign. The takeaway here is that consumers trust a random person in the comments more than your expensive commercial. Your brand is what the internet says it is, not what you say it is. Kaya ang ginagawa ng iba, they're having paid promotions, they're having UGCs, no? Even KOLs, and partnering with these creators, no? Brand partnerships. So that's what we mean when we say decentralized authority when it comes to your brand and how consumers view brand authority. The reflection here is that the consumer just watched the video, they open the comments immediately to see the vibe check, no? Have you noticed how people searching TikTok for brand name plus honest reviews? Okay, they are looking for decentralized opinions that the brand cannot delete. Okay? So, as a consumer, you might say, oh, that's the reason why I scroll straight to the comments of an ad before I even look at the product. I am looking for the real authority, the people who actually spent their money. Okay? So, authority now comes from the courage to say no. Okay? Creators who go viral for telling their followers not to buy a trending product because it's overhyped. Their authority grows because they aren't on the brand's payroll. And as consumers, you might say that, oh, that's the reason why I trust the influencer more than a celebrity spokesperson. One is being paid to talk, the other is talking because they actually care about the truth. Okay? So, di ba nagkakaroon yung mga brand products na sasabihin nila na may mga hook na hindi na ako bibili ng item na to kasi ganito, ganyan. Okay? So, yan yung ibig sabihin natin when it comes to decentralized authority. And also, it's a community-led product development. If you're a brand and you're launching a product, you need to let the crowd drive it, no? Yung, for example, yung mga brands like, it's international brands, Glossier or Lululemon, they build products based on what people are complaining about in the comments. So that's the authority on what the next product should be. Those inputs are coming from the users, not the designers. Okay? So, babalik na naman tayo dun sa by the book na when it comes to the study of consumer behavior is that it all boils down to customer-centric marketing. And then, for consumers, they will think that that's the reason why I feel so loyal to this brand. They didn't just sell to me, they listened to the community and fix the problem we complained about. Okay? So there. Now, Moving on to the independent buyer, content doing the selling. Nowadays, products are now on e-commerce, no? There's this thing we call silent phase. Consumers are now doing 80% of their decision making in the shadows. On Reddit, on TikTok, on Thread, on Instagram, Facebook, and even AI search, no, without ever touching your website or talking to a representative. So the consumer behavior is that the modern consumer is self-guided. They have an extreme aversion to being sold to, but they're craving to be informed. Okay, if your content doesn't answer their hardest questions, like for example, the price, the flaws, the comparisons, they won't ask you. They'll just move to another brand. This is force number 2, uncompromising control. If radical transparency was about the truth, uncompromising control is about steering the wheel. The consumer doesn't want to be a passenger in your sales funnel. They want to be the pilot. They have zero patience for gatekeepers or bottlenecks. If you try to control the flow of information, they will simply leave, okay? So, the independent buyer journey is saying that I'll do it myself rule. The sales funnel has been replaced by the independent journey. Consumers now do the 80% of their research alone before they ever click buy or talk to a human. How it reflects on social media is that yung gaya ng sinasabi natin kanina, yung save folders and collections, like private mood boards for their life, they aren't waiting for your ad. Okay, they are hunting for solutions. Think of a student looking for example a new laptop. They don't go to the brand's website first. They go to TikTok and search student laptop 2026 reviews or day in the life with X laptop. They watch 10 videos, read 50 comments, and then they go to buy. So as a marketer, your job isn't to guide them, it's to leave breadcrumbs. Okay? How do you do that? You do that by UGC, reviews, tutorials, okay, all over the internet so they can discover you on their own terms. Palagi naman itong nangyayari, nakikita natin na if the information isn't public, it doesn't exist. Okay? For example, a service-based business like a coach or a contractor, they put their full pricing and how we work process in a pinned post, okay, or an Instagram highlight. Okay, so as a marketer, you need to give the consumer or the customer everything they needed upfront. Okay, no gatekeeping. Another thing is search optimization, no? For example, brands creating videos specifically titled "Who Our Product Is Not For" or "Top 3 Mistakes When Buying X." Ang iisipin ng consumer is that, oh, that's the reason why I actually bought from them. They are telling me who the product is not for. They help me realize I am the right person. And their content did the selling by being honest about the fit. Okay? There. Now, moving on to the evolution of search from keyword to conversation. Before, no, when you're using Google 1.0, you type best headphones. In 2026, you search for AI or TikTok and you say, I need headphones for a 12-hour flight that won't hurt my ears if I wear with glasses. Consumers no longer want a list of links. They want straight answers. They treat search engines and social platforms like a knowledgeable friend. They expect the system to understand their specific life constraints, the glasses, the long flight, and filter the world's information down to 1 or 2 perfect recommendations. Search is no longer about keywords, It's about intent and visual proof. Consumers has moved from Google links to TikTok and answer engine. How does this reflect on social media? Itong evolution of search natin, no? Social SEO is the new game. Brands are optimizing their captions, voiceovers, and even the text inside the video, so they show up when a user searches for a specific problem. Kaya mahalaga din na nilalagyan yung mga videos natin, nilalagyan natin ng captions, voiceovers, and text inside. No? Kaya nagtataka ka, bakit itong content na ito nag-trending siya? Because they're doing this structuring of Reels, TikTok videos. Instead of searching for best sushi on Google or your website, the user is searching it on TikTok to see the vibe of the restaurant, the size of the rolls, for example, the real reaction of the person eating it. So, if a user cannot see the answer to their questions in a 15-second video, you haven't answered it, okay? Search in 2026, it's visual and it's peer verified. 41% of all users starts their search on TikTok because they want to see the answer, not read it. Instead of Googling how to style blah blah blah, they aren't looking for Google anymore. A user searches on TikTok, they're looking for a 15-second video or a visual conversation with someone who looks like them. Consumers don't want a star rating. They want to talk to the video and see if the vibe matches their mood. Okay? Now, the rise of a social SEO from caption as scripts is brands are no longer keyword stuffing. So, di ba, yung iba is pahabaan yan ng paramihan pa yan ng mga hashtags yung ginagawa nila. As a marketer, you should be writing captions that sound like a natural human speech because that's what AI and social algorithm now indexes. Okay, pinag-usapan natin yan sa the biggest marketing shift, no? You be specific with your intent, with your content. Okay, that's how the AI or the algorithm indexes your content to show it in the faces of the users. Okay, so the evolution of search is a mix of conversational queries, visual search, and answer engines. Okay, so as a marketer, you structure your content to answer conversational prompts, and if you aren't optimizing for AI reviews, then you will lose every single time. Alright, now moving on to zero tolerance convenience. So convenience is no longer a nice to have. In 2026, friction is the same thing as no. So with the rise of social commerce, no, yung one-tap buying, a TikTok with the product link that populates your shipping into automatically via Apple Pay, no typing, no forms, no leaving the app. Yan, yung zero tolerance convenience na sinasabi natin. And again, TikTok is the authority when it comes to zero tolerance convenience. If you ever notice yourself abandoning your cart when checking out at a specific website, no, they are asking you to create an account just to buy 100 peso shirt. A consumer's brain literally couldn't handle the extra work. So your role as a marketer is to make life easier, no, for consumers. So this is the gist when it comes to zero tolerance convenience. And then of course, the unfiltered authenticity. Nakikita natin ito on a daily basis. Nagtataka tayo why raw photos or raw videos are becoming a trend and also gaining a lot of views, a lot of likes, or in short, they are trending because of unfiltered authenticity. Perfection nowadays has become boring, or yung sinasabi nilang aesthetic. It's too perfect, it's boring. Now, consumers are craving for the ugly truth because it feels earned. Okay? Now, sa social media, yung mga high flashy, grainy, and messy content, they outperform yung mga studio shoots that are too curated or aesthetically pleasing to the eye. No? That's why makeup brands showing real skin, close up, with pores, with textures and all, rather than a blurred airblushed ad. Kasi yun naman ang totoo, yun naman ang tunay, hindi naman ang mga mukha natin ay hindi perpekto. So dapat ang pinapakita mo, if you're a beauty brand or a makeup brand, you show a real skin with close-up shots, okay, and showing the messy parts or the messy ones, no, rather than the perfectly curated ads. So there, because as we all know, customers are now clever, they're smart enough, they know when they are being sold to. I guess that's the curse of being a marketer, no? You know when you are being sold to. Napaka clever ng mga marketers because we can do the same, but for ethical marketers, we choose the honest path, okay? Instead of deceptive marketing, because we all know kung ano mangyayari sa brand mo if you do that. Especially nowadays with all of social media, with as we talk about decentralized authority, na hindi na lang ikaw ang nagdidikta ng narrative about your brand. It's the community, it's the people, it's in the comment sections. It's not your star rating. It's the people who build that narrative for your brand. Okay? Okay, so ano naman itong Rewired Wellness? The biological agency, no? Wellness is no longer about looking good. It's about feeling in control of your own biology. Consumers, they want science-backed proof, no? Graphs, data, nervous system regulation. If for example, you are in the health industry, no? A beverage brand doesn't just say, "Oh, this tastes great." They show the CGM, or the continuous glucose monitor graph, proving it won't crash your energy at 2 p.m. Diba? Your marketing game for the Rewired Wellness is that the consumer want to understand how their body actually works. So that's what you're going to do with your content. Okay? You don't just say 24-hour protection. Create educational content that makes people understand how their body actually works. So that is when it comes to Rewired Wellness. Wellness is no longer about looking good. It's about feeling in control of your own biology. And then of course, we have the tactical execution. Okay, so when it comes to tactical engine, it's your video content as a revenue engine. It's not just about brand awareness anymore. It's the full sales funnel with just a single video. If you have a 30-second video that starts with a problem, shows the solution, you provide the proof, and has a buy button at the end, that's how you win every single time. So as you can see here, 86% higher conversions on landing pages with videos. So as marketers, panahon na para gumawa ng mga videos, no? Hindi na lang puro static posts. Now, when it comes to the new personalization, or what we call the digital empathy, moving from targeting to helping, using data to predict a human need, not just to stock a lead. It's a contextual recommendation that feels like a mind reader. Let's take for example, no, si Food Panda. Okay, kung dati, the old marketing is that at 6 p.m., Food Panda sends a generic blast. Okay, it says that 10% off burgers, order now. You aren't even hungry or for burgers, but you swipe away. Ngayon, ang new marketing or digital empathy is that Food Panda's AI sees it just started pouring rain in your specific neighborhood in Baguio, for example. They know you usually order comfort food when it's cold. Kaya ang notification nila will be, oh, it's pouring outside, don't get wet. We've curated the top 3 lugaw and ramen spots near you with the fastest rainy day delivery times. Stay dry and cozy. May mga paganyan-ganyan si Food Panda ngayon. So, nagugulat ka na lang. Masyadong tugma sa happening sa iyong buhay, no? This works because consumers, they hate being treated like a data point, no? But they love being understood. So, dito pumapasok yung digital empathy. Uses the data, the weather, plus the location, plus your past order history to create value. So, ibang strategic mandate dito for marketers is that you ask yourself, am I using this data to help the user win their day? Or am I just trying to win their wallet? So the brands that uses AI to show they actually give a damn about the human or the consumer on the other side of the screen wins every single time. Okay? So that's the last slide actually for the forces shaping consumer behavior in 2026. Okay, so to wrap up our webinar, I hope that we learn a lot on how we are going to recalibrate our marketing strategies when it comes to learning about the consumer behavior in this AI-driven world that we are in. Mas napadali ang consumer study kasi ikaw na mismong consumer ang nagbibigay ng information. Paano? Using apps, no? Using social media. The moment that you sign up for an account, you already allowed the platform to study and collect not just your personal data, but how you behave on these platforms. What are your interests? The moment that you sign up for an app or social media platform and click I agree to the terms and conditions, you grant these platforms permission to collect extensive data beyond just the personal information you explicitly provide. So these platforms are designed to track, to study, to monetize your behavior, your interests, and your digital footprint. Okay? So kung sa traditional marketing noon, ang researching is time consuming, no? Like surveys and whatnot. Actually, nabanggit ko na rin ito sa past webinars natin on our topic on marketing analytics. No? Akala mo ang paggamit mo ng Facebook, ng TikTok, and all of the social media apps out there ay libre. The catch is, we're using these platforms free at the cost of our data. Okay? Wala tayong binabayaran, but they are exploiting our data. For others, social media is the biggest technological scam there is. Yan ang paniniwala ng iba. If you're studying marketing, you understand that this is the business model, or we are the product. We are sold to businesses. That's the attention economy, no? In a nutshell. When a service is free, you aren't the customer. You are the inventory being packaged and sold to the highest bidder. How does it actually function is that it provides you the free tools, connections, entertainment, storage to keep you scrolling and clicking, okay? Every time you like, search, and pause on a video, those are data. Data harvested to build a psychological profile of your desires, your vulnerabilities. That profile, your attention, and predicted behavior is what is auctioned off to businesses in real time. So, businesses pay for guaranteed access to your eyeballs through hyper targeted ads, effectively buying a piece of your digital life. While it feels a scam to the user, for marketers, it is the most efficient distribution system ever created. So, ganun na lang kadaling pag-aralan ang consumer behavior and ganun na din kadaling baguhin. Kaya kung bakit nagkakaroon ng mga apps, updates, 'di ba? Yeah, there. So I hope that you've learned a lot from this webinar, and don't forget that apart from understanding consumer behavior, why do we understand consumer behavior is that it all boils down to customer centricity as a business strategy, placing the customers at the core of all decisions, of all operations, product development, so that you can, as a brand, you can foster long-term loyalty and satisfaction. Okay, understanding consumer needs and wants to create positive personalized experiences rather than just selling products. Okay, there you have it. Thank you so much, everyone, for being with me tonight. I'll be opening the discussion for your questions. If you have questions, you may comment down below. And of course, I would like to remind everyone to please do register for our upcoming webinar. So on March 28th, we have what is AEO, how to get your brand found in AI search. That's happening on March 28th. Saturday here, same place, same time. And April 25, that's the current state of social media marketing updates you need to know in 2026. So yeah, that's April 2025. And of course, we still do have our marketing webinar bundle. We have 4, 5, 6, and 10 marketing webinar bundle. You have 4 options for the bundle. Those are self-paced marketing webinars from our previous topics conducted beginning March 2025 to November 2025. For the latest webinars, we have it on a regular rate and it's discounted for students. And yeah, I hope that you get to check on that. We have the links below. And of course, thank you so much for joining me tonight, and I hope to see you on the upcoming webinars. We have the schedules on our screens. All right, let's see if you have questions. Right. All right, we would like to acknowledge our attendees from, let's see. We have Quezon City University. We have FINMA, St. Jude College, Manila. We also have attendees from University of Santo Tomas, National University, MOA. Also have from Ateneo de Davao University, National College of Science and Technology, University of Nueva Cáceres, University of Perpetual Help System, Laguna, and of course, we have a group of student attendees from Rizal Technological Institute. May I ask, what year are you now? Uh, I hope you're here. We have 28 attendees. All right, if we don't have questions for our registered attendees, please head over to our Gmeet link so we can take our photo session. It is provided in the email, webinar email registration I sent you. So I'll see you there. Once again, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Appreciate you all. Okay, how to get a certificate po? We have the link LM Kaskayan. Hello there. Yeah, you check on the link. All right, there. So this has been Jean Ingsan saying adios. See you on the next one. Have a great evening and bye. Bye everyone.